How can a patient tell what cannabis products will do for them with names like Bubba Kush or Dragon Piss? Can you imagine your doctor giving you a diagnosis and x-rays and saying, okay, here's what you got. Good luck finding the medicinal compounds to fix it. I've heard doctors say that if a particular cannabis smells good, it may be what your body is calling for. But I beg to differ. Really? I mean, I like the smell of gasoline, acetone, and fingernail polish, but I certainly wouldn't ingest any of them.
Welcome to Season 5 of the Cannabis Truth Podcast. Your host is Honey Smith Walls, author of the new book, Healing Beyond High, Cannabis Truth, a gentle, practical guide for elders to learn cannabis fundamentals safely and effectively without overuse or overwhelm. In a world where the FDA has yet to stamp its approval on this ancient natural remedy, Honey Smith Walls bridges the gap between Western healthcare norms, uplifting benefits and relief through gentle cannabis plant therapies. Join this 21st century cannabis shaman, uniquely positioned to assess the green intentions of medical, farming, and business industries in cannabis and uncover fascinating historical, political, scientific, and spiritual facets of the plant.
So, hello, friends. Welcome back to the Cannabis Truth Podcast. Kids have gone back to school. Schedules have redirected into their proper fall orbit. And as an election year, the atmosphere is writhing with hyperbole. And here we go again, trying to preserve the hard-won freedoms and notions of cannabis medicine over backward-thinking, fear-based legislation. It's very difficult for me to stay out of the fracas because the answers just seem so obvious. They just seem so obvious. But when you don't study the plant and you make absurd allegations with no scientific backup, that's just politics. I can't concentrate on all that. And give you the necessary attention that you require to understand cannabis alchemy so that you can find proper, long-lasting, effective, safe relief with plant therapy. And you'll notice that I go beyond just cannabinoids. I recently have discovered a product out on the market in a new, a new way. There's just more of it, and it's amazingly effective when you take more of it. It's something we're commonly used to ingesting in many, many foods that we eat regularly. It's a terpene known as beta-caryophyllene. And sorry to be riffing here, but beta-caryophyllene, the terpene, BCP for short, has really made a huge difference in my daily quality of life. Helping me with focus and energy, helping me tame the neuropathy in my hands, just lifting moods. And actually, it lifted a depression, and my moods are fine. Once the depression was lifted, my moods are balanced, and that's what I'm talking about. This one terpene just helped me in particular at 70 with the old lady issues that I've got. And by the way, there's not that many of them anymore because I've really been concentrating on coming back into health at this age with the issues I've got. I've recently been able to get off of a blood pressure medicine. Losartan was the last one that I was on. I've taken them all. Amlodipine, Besylate, just all that junk. Norvasc. I've taken them all, trying different ones for the past 35 years in order to manage the side effects that they gave me, aside from trying to lower my blood pressure. But side effects were just so miserable. So with brain fog and weird body movements, I'd find myself doing this and aching in places that I didn't do anything. Why is that aching? Or why am I, oh God, the nausea and the sleeplessness and the brain fog. So after 35 years of using various kinds of synthetic prescriptions to control my blood pressure, I've finally been able to get off of them. That wasn't just because of cannabis, but cannabis helped me resolve some issues. And so did a huge life change. My husband died. So my daily thoughts don't center around his needs anymore. It felt like a lot of pressure was released when I didn't have to worry about him. Not that I don't love him, just that he's not in my life anymore to worry about. That in itself lowers, anxiety and worry and nitpicking and, squabbling or anything that couples do. And so the other thing is that I consciously stopped watching live television, murder mysteries, politics, news. Just stopped. And often I don't listen to, even though they're favorites and I love them, I don't listen to all that old emotional music that jerks my emotions around like I was 14 freaking years old again. I don't want my emotions jerked around anymore, thank you. I'm an adult woman. I'd like to be able to control them finally. And I've learned how to do that with help from cannabis, because cannabis helps us be tolerant and patient and loving and kind. And it does not make us aggressive. It does not give us weird side effects that we cannot manage or control. Yes, it does have some side effects. Yes, they can be managed and controlled. And I'm talking side effects like drowsiness or psycho, from the high, from THC. That's a side effect. Side effects like, and some would call that negative. A lot of people call that positive. It's still a side effect. And, but then other side effects like anxiety or nausea. If you know how to use cannabis and its alchemy properly, then you learn how to manage stuff like that so that you don't ever get up to the point of nausea or up to the point of anxiety. You control the cannabinoids that you're consuming in dosage and content, and then you're in charge of your own health. So the other thing that people really need to understand about cannabis is that there are so many kinds. It can help you do a variety of therapeutical resolutions. So not sleeping, you're going to want to choose the right kind of cannabis for sleep. Kind of groggy in the morning, need some focus and energy, choose that kind of cannabis that affects you like that. Do you need some, shh, be quiet, puppies. Sorry, all 5 of them are in here with me and they're being pretty good, eh? So, there's different kinds of cannabis for different issues, and you need to learn what that is so that you can effectively manage what your own issues are and find relief and resolution to those.
Well, hello, I'm Dr. Philip Blair, and I want to introduce you to Honey Smith Walls. And she recently had an experience with beta-caryophyllene.
I was gobsmacked.
absolutely gobsmacked. So I had terrible, terrible arthritis, still do, in my hands and my feet. Have some serious neuropathy in my fingertips that had been awakening me every hour on the hour all night long for months. All I could think about was pain, 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 pain. And so my personality, this girl had completely disappeared. Next thing you know, I find out about your product.
Right.
And what beta-caryophyllene can really do. Within minutes of taking my first dose, I could feel the sadness just lifting.
There's a lot of politics going on, especially in this year. And I don't know what's happening with cannabis out in California and what that's going to do to cannabis across the nation. But we've already fought this hard-won battle, and yet here we are again, refighting the issues with an ignorant legislator who doesn't understand what he's about to do to millions of families who rely on cannabinoids from hemp to help their children with seizure disorders and autism disorders and all kinds of issues that you would never wish on your worst enemy. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, trying to help elders and especially women understand how to use cannabis safely and effectively so that you can find relief for living on this planet. It's just damn difficult. And, I am not without fear at this elder age, but I do try to contain it and remember what I'm doing, and that I do have a mission. It's a personal mission, but it's for the world, to help you understand cannabis so that we can all find relief and play nicely together. I'm just going to keep my head down while I'm moving forward, trying to help you figure out what particular ways cannabis alchemy works and what to avoid in this wild, wild west of weed. For instance, do not buy your cannabis at gas stations or dollar stores. I wouldn't even buy my cannabis at a grocery store. They're big chains. They don't care what's in that. Please go to some place that provides you with a third-party lab test that proves what's in that medicine you're about to buy and ingest, so that there's no poisonous stuff in there. No molds, no mildews, no herbicides, fungicides, pesticides, no heavy metals. None of that stuff should be in anybody's medicine. Shouldn't be in your Cheerios, shouldn't be in your milk, shouldn't be in your medicine. Okay, now that we got that said, you see how, really it's my soapbox. That's why I'm so passionate about it. It was contaminated cannabis that nearly got me. I have myalgic encephalomyelitis, diagnosed with it a jillion years ago, when it was a laughable phrase called chronic fatigue. Laughable. They didn't believe any of us who had this chronic fatigue thing going on. No. They thought it was all just a ruse, a new woman's ruse to get out of doing stuff. I don't know. But it isn't. And then science, somebody put a big, gigantic, hard to say name to it. And all of a sudden it's got some validity. Okay, well, whatever. They still don't really have any type of medication for it. Nothing that doesn't give you super negative side effects in the synthetics. But if you come to natural plant therapy like cannabis for chronic fatigue, for myalgic encephalomyelitis, that sort of goes almost hand in hand with IBS. IBS is what they call, I don't know what the hell you've got, but all of these symptoms combined, they don't seem to have any real origin, but whoosh, there's all those symptoms you've got. So it's in that category. They gave it a big name, and they give you synthetic prescriptions, usually that are off-label, meant for something else entirely, like psychotic help or whatever. And that's what you get in the big pharma world. Come to plant therapy, though, you're going to find all kinds of relief for all kinds of issues going on in your system now. Because cannabis is not just one molecule. Nay, not like the prescriptions that your doctor orders for you. It's one molecule meant to target one thing in your body. And, oh, by the way, welcome to the wonderful world of negative side effects from that one molecule. So, cannabis has hundreds of compounds in it. And each one of those compounds do something medicinally for you. So, and you've got receptors throughout your entire body, throughout your central nervous system, in your head, in your hands, in your skin, in your blood, everywhere. So these receptors, this receptor system is a master regulatory receptor system. It's going to govern all your other 11 systems. So, because there's so many compounds, because we've been forbidden to study it until just recently, and the doors are still just barely being unlocked for that, great. Then, now that we're able to see cannabis under a microscope and figure out what's what about it, it's going to take us some time. So we have to be aware that this is a nascent industry, just beginning up, just coming up from the ground, even though the cannabis plant is ancient and has been here on this planet always. Do you know why scientists believe that cannabis can do so much for us? It's because of that receptor system in our body that binds perfectly with all those hundreds and hundreds of cannabinoids and terpenes. So, and the scientists found out that everybody on the planet, all humans, all animals, even this invertebrate slug down at the bottom of the ocean, has an endocannabinoid system of receptors not unsimilar to ours. That means it's been here always. Always. That invertebrate slug at the bottom of the ocean has never seen the light of day, never smoked a joint, never seen a plant. Not a cannabis plant. So, it's that little teeny weeny discovery that makes us realize that cannabis actually can do so much for us, and we have this ancient receptor system built into us that allows binding of those plant cannabinoids within us perfectly. And that's why it's such gentle therapy for us. But we do have to manage it. We do have to learn how to use it properly. Yeah, a lot of people got a hold of it before scientists could, really, and began experimenting with the high. And they love the high. Okay, set all that aside. I'm talking about using it as medicine. You want to get high, get high. I don't care. I love getting high too. But I need it as a woman to manage my hormonal, emotional, juju shit that goes on every day in me as a woman on this planet, and what we have to suffer. Yeah, I just pulled that suffer card as a woman. Damn straight I did. I'm nervous about our future, considering the options and what I see, and the big elephant in the room of disrespect for all women. So I'm a little nervous. I don't mind saying it out loud. You know, cannabis companies are flying by the seat of their britches. It takes years and years and years to establish standards. Maybe we can reschedule the plant and throw weed in with alcohol, and their standardization for, bringing up alcohol, baby, especially after their prohibition. Maybe we can reschedule it to Schedule 3 with some other medicines, open up for insurance and using credit cards, the business thing. We haven't been able to use credit cards for cannabis, banking has been a real issue. Oh, it's just been stupid. We're going to be waiting, though, for years for standards to come up and systems to work, even while we're trying to choose our own meds. Did you hear what I said? In this industry, we choose which medicinal cannabis to use for ourselves. That's right. I just want you to let that sink in for a minute, because that's not what happens when you go to a doctor and get diagnosed with, cold or flu or something that you need penicillin for. He doesn't just say, yeah, you've got a cold or a flu and you need something for it. Here's a prescription. Go to the drugstore and pick a drug. Good luck. But that's what's happening in cannabis. Yep. You've got issues. Yep. We understand cannabis would be pretty good for those issues, but here, I'll give you permission to go use that cannabis, but good luck finding the right stuff. That's just cray-cray. I keep hearing, free the weed. Well, that's great, but free the education with it. Make it mandatory until we get it. If you don't know and understand what all those stupid names are that the farmers and corporate heads are calling cannabis in their stores, in their products, those names will mean nothing to you. Nothing. How can a patient tell what cannabis products will do for them with names like Bubba Kush or Dragon Piss? They can't. Can you imagine your doctor giving you a diagnosis and x-rays and saying, okay, here's what you got. Good luck finding the medicinal compounds to fix it. Pardon me. I can't tell you which ones specifically, will do what or what does, but just go start in the middle of the pharmacy and work your way through until you find something that smells good. Yeah, you could maybe pick it by smell. Take a little tiny bit. Let's see what that does for you. And be sure to take notes. Well, my friends, that's where we are with most cannabis in most situations. I've heard doctors say that if a particular cannabis smells good, it may be what your body is calling for, but I beg to differ. Really? I mean, I like the smell of gasoline, acetone, and fingernail polish, but I certainly wouldn't ingest any of them. I can't stand the smell of broccoli, but I love the taste. Until you begin learning about and experimenting on yourself with this plant, you just won't know how to find the right cannabis compounds to help you. And like I said, there's hundreds. And the thing that really determines your cannabis ride are compounds called terpenes. We talk about them all the time. Each one of those has a different medicinal value. And there's thousands of terpenes. Yeah, we already ingest thousands of terpenes in everything that we eat because that's what you smell and taste are the terpenes in the food. Like in an apple, woo, made my jaws lock up. Or a lemon, woo! Or a banana, or anything, anything you eat. And those terpenes, because you've already been ingesting them all your life, those play real nicely with cannabinoids, each one of them. Like I said, there's hundreds of cannabinoids and thousands of terpenes, and they all play nicely together. And we're just really, really, really discovering what they do. Russ Hudson wrote this fabulous book I fell in love with. I read from cover to cover. It's 5.5 pounds of reference on just exactly what we've been talking about. Terpenes. It's called The Big Book of Terps by Russ Hudson. And that was the first definitive guide for me that allowed me to realize how exciting terpene therapy is. Plant therapy. Some terpenes act like cannabinoids, but they're not. And I think I heard Russ say all cannabinoids are terpenes. I'm not sure. At this point, I may have forgotten more than I've learned about cannabis. I've been going, and I just got, oh my glory. There was a fabulous meeting last night. If I haven't mentioned it lately, I visit Dr. Dustin Sulak online every month at his lectures, 7 o'clock on a Wednesday evening, usually second or third Wednesday of the month, something like that. Hit me up for the link. Or go to healer.com and register and go yourself. It's fabulous. I've been going he's been doing this since 2019. He's been a cannabis doctor since 2016. He's up in Maine. He's a DO. He's got 2 or 3 little kids, just darling, and a precious wife and a wonderful business. And he's practicing, medicine up there with his patients. And he's got some fabulous cannabis products that he's been able to conjure up for us and produce them for us. Practically out of his own backyard. He's got a whole operation going now, and he's one of the few who I really trust. He's one of my affiliate partners. So, buy directly from him if you want. If you want to help me and support what I do, then use my affiliate link, won't you please, to buy products from Healer, and they can be shipped directly to your front door, to your post office, to your box office, whatever it is, wherever you are, across almost all the states who will still allow, and almost all the states do allow. There's a couple of stupid states who don't because, again, stupidity and legislation before education. Anyway, did I mention that, I was talking about the ECS, right, and how wise scientists all agree that, cannabis will work for you because they've discovered this ancient receptor system, blah, 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 blah. You heard me say it. If not, back up about 10 minutes. Anyway, it's an amazing system of receptors in our body that communicates where all those compounds need to go, whether they're cannabinoids or terpenoids or whatever. And that is why cannabis can do so much for us, unlike synthetic prescriptions from Big Pharma that only have one compound which targets one issue. And, like something for high blood pressure, anxiety, or sleep, or heart, or headache, or tummy ache, one pill for each one of those. But cannabis could do all of that, and relieve a lot of your symptoms that you have with issues like that all at once, because it is it's a plant with a ton of compounds in it, a ton of molecules that can help you. So you really need to begin figuring out which cannabinoids and terpenes make the most sense for you. It's going to take a little education. It really is. You're just going to have to kind of start figuring all that out. Here's Teddy Bear. He's the one you heard just a minute ago, and he's a little needy. He needs a little hugging and loving right now, so I'll just get it over with and let you see. He just sinks his body into me. He's so funny. Anyway, it's going to take a little bit of education. You're really going to have to figure out what your issues are. Which cannabinoids might help those issues. There's real science out on this, real case studies, and then you need to find somebody who will provide that product. It's not just about getting high. In fact, most people are looking for relief, not high. Two different things. I need relief. I've got arthritis, I've got neuropathy, I've got high thyroid, I've got issues. I need relief from those issues. And I've got stress. And I get anxious over the stress. I need stress relief. Sometimes it's hard for me to sleep all night long. I need good sleep. Sometimes it's hard for me to focus and get started. I need a little oomph in the morning. Like we all like caffeine for that little oomph in the morning. I wake up after being asleep all night and I can't make a fist. And look, I can make a fist because I use plant therapy. But how am I going to find what I need for my issues? I wish I could tell you there is a definitive standard. But how? How do you find the right plant, the right product, even if you understand what you need it for?
Well, hello, I'm Dr. Philip Blair, and I want to introduce you to Honey Smith Walls. And she recently had an experience with beta-caryophyllene. How's your sleep?
After 7 or 8 days of a seriously healthy 6 to 7 hours of sleep, unbroken sleep, which I hadn't had in way more than a year. That first night when I slept all night, didn't even get up to go to the powder room, and none of my dogs, I have 5 dogs that sleep in this bed with me. None of them awakened me. And it's been the same one night got real busy outside, must have been a raccoon or something. But That would ordinarily really tick me off because my sleep was so precious. But because I've been getting good sleep with BC Plus, God, 6 to 7 hours at my age, that's just amazing.
Hi, and thanks for your sweet company today. I'm so glad that you could spend a little time with me and talk about cannabis, understand it a little bit better, try to figure out how to do this process. So, go back a couple of weeks and catch Dr. T's episode about this subject. Dr. T is Jean Talleyrand, MD, lovingly called Dr. T in our circles. And right after his episode was Libby McKay, founder of a new system to standardize cannabis called Discover Your Color. Yes, she figured out a way to put several different effects with a different color so that you can begin searching for the effect that you're looking for and see it visually with a color. That way, it doesn't matter what brand. If you see the color purple, you know that that's going to give a certain effect. If you see the color yellow, you're going to know that that will give a certain effect. And it won't matter who produced that product or what type of product it is coming in, the delivery method, whether it's a vape pen, whether it's raw flower, whether it's a gummy, whether it's a tincture. It could have, if it has her coloring system on it, you will instantly know that this is the effect you're going for. So that's going to simplify a ton of things. Now I want you to really go to her website, discoveryourcolor.co, just C-O, discoveryourcolor.co. Let me say it again, discoveryourcolor.co. This plant is so complex. We've been talking about that because of all of the medicinal compounds within it, that untangling it and all of their meanings and values have already begun to create master university programs. It's true. Megan Bing just got her master's in cannabis plant therapies, I think is what it's called. And she was already an RN with her BSN. So Megan Bing is my friend who's founder of Trusted Cana Nurse. I say my friend generously because I've followed her for several years now on LinkedIn, and we've had several discussions. I've had her on my show. You'll find her in a past episode. And she's just an absolutely brilliant woman with a pharmacist doctor brother, chemist, who's helping her create these incredible products out in California. And those two can be shipped across the states. I am an affiliate partner with Megan Bing as well. And so only because I've talked to her personally, I've sought her advice personally, I've used her products personally, and I can wholeheartedly recommend the way that she teaches cannabis. And, she has all the professional medical credentials that anybody could ever want on this subject. And she's just truly brilliant. I trust her, is my point. And I trust her products. And I've used her products, and her products have been very effective for me. So as long as I'm talking about affiliates, I might as well tell you about my third, and I only have 3 affiliates. So it's Dr. Sulak with healer.com, and it's Megan Bing with trustedcananurse.com, and then Dr. Philip Blair is a retired colonel and MD, and he has gone from a traditional clinical practice into cannabis, and then cannabis science in the laboratory into terpenology. So he has discovered through cannabis this incredible terpene value, beta-caryophyllene, BCP, what I talk about all the time because it made such a huge difference. And it even changed the way I use cannabis, because now I don't need as much cannabis as a whole because I'm using Dr. Blair's beta-caryophyllene product, BC+. Again, you can go to all of these companies through these medical professionals who I have spoken to for many, many hours, each one of them, learned so much, presented and amplified their work to you through my podcast over the past 6 years, almost 6 years. And these are the only 3 that I have become affiliate partners with. A, because it takes a long time to vet cannabis companies thoroughly. And you have to have, a broad scope of knowledge about the industry as a whole in order to understand what these companies' intentions are, what they're doing, how they're presenting their products to you, if it's safe and effective, if they're trying to lift standardization of cannabis as medicine. So that's what I'm about. And I'm not bringing you everybody I've ever met. Oh, hell no. I'm bringing you the best of everybody I've ever met in the cannabis industry who produces excellent cannabis medicine that can be shipped to your front door. And they're different. They're all different. So Dr. Sulak has discovered the acidic value, and most of his products have the acidic version of what you're looking for in cannabinoids, as well as the full spectrum of the rest of the complement of compounds in the plant. Megan Bing, she's got some incredible stuff. She's out in California with Trusted Canine Nurse. She's got some incredible stuff for women. Girls, ladies, if you're dealing with IBS or any kind of vaginal trouble, if you've got swelling after sex, go visit trustedcaninurse.com. But do it through my affiliate partner link and go see what she's got to help you with the aftermath of great sex. Go to her if you've got monthly cramps that you have not been able to manage yet. Go to her if you've got any kind of womanly issues going on, and you know what I'm talking about. Go see Megan, trustedcaninurse.com, and please use my affiliate link if you decide to purchase something. I've got them somewhere all over my Facebook pages and LinkedIn and YouTube. We'll put banners up so that you can try to copy them down, put them in the URL, and go for it. Those are my 3 affiliates. They're fabulous. I trust them. You can too. And you can order and get the same thing every month to maintain a higher quality of life, to help you with anxiety, to help you with inflammation of all kinds, to help you with your moods, to stabilize your moods. Cannabis is amazing for helping us be tolerant again of life around us. And it just feels so good when you feel tolerant, because it feels like gratitude. It's a form of gratitude. So I'm just here this week trying to spread the news that'll help simplify effective cannabis use. I don't have the time or inclination to go through university to learn more about cannabis when we still have so much to learn about the basics, the fundamentals, and just getting over the stigma and telling the truth about it and getting rid of the stupidity involved in cannabis in both the industry and outside of the industry. In politics it's particularly stupid, but even inside our own industry, it's just there's a lot to deal with. So as there is in bringing up any nascent business or industry. I'm in the recreational state of Michigan that dwindled its medical program from 400,000 people down to just 30,000 by the time I moved up here about a year and a half ago. What didn't they understand? That cannabis education would fly right out the window, that dispensaries wouldn't want the liability of the medicinal side of cannabis, that their mission is to sell the high. Dispensaries do not care about your medicinal needs. They know THC will kill pain and get you high and help you sleep and make you anxious or calm you down. And CBD does something else like calm anxiety, but they won't help you figure out what your needs really are because they don't want the liability. Educated patients get real frustrated in most Michigan dispensaries because if you ask too many questions, and I mean more than one, they'll switch out bud tenders on you and you'll start all over again. But now we can walk in armed with a tool they could use for free that will help them gain customers and customer loyalty. DiscoverYourColor.co can change all that frustration in a hurry. And all we have to do is make our local dispensaries aware of it. This is a damn good idea. It's a simply designed new standard backed by science, and it needs all the help that we can give it. So please take a moment to visit DiscoverYourColor.co. Sign up to be part of the new standard in cannabis choice. But don't stop there. Take this idea to every dispensary you visit or any store that sells cannabis and backs it up with a third-party lab test. Don't bother with the gas stations or dollar stores, please. So, if you want your cannabis medicine to help you effectively, then standardization will get us there quickly. I already set up my account and found my color in just minutes for what that goal was. You may have several different goals, but learning what those 4 colors mean will help you choose the right cannabis for your needs instantly. And it won't matter who made that product. And it won't matter what their silly name is either, because you'll have a little color code there to tell you, this is going to relieve my anxiety. And it's got so much of this amount of THC in it, so much of this amount of CBD in it, and so much of this amount of blah, 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 whatever it is. So That's the way it's going to look. Each one of those colors has a set specter of compounds in them that elicit these different effects. And when you know what effects that you're looking for instance, if you're looking for sleep at night, you would take the right color for that. Energy in the morning, you'd take the right color for that. You see what I'm saying? We're going to get to standardization, and discoveryourcolor.co is going to help us get there, and it's free on both ends. It's free to me, the consumer of cannabis, and it's free to the business of cannabis, the company that's selling you that. So there is no barrier to using this brand new way of looking at cannabis. We've got to have some standardization. And this is a great idea. And it's simple, and we can use it and love it. So go to discoveryourcolor.co right now. And thanks for hanging out with me again today on the Cannabis Truth Podcast. Don't forget to use my affiliate links with the other affiliates when you do want to purchase something through the mail and have it sent directly to your mailbox. Sending love, hugs, and kisses. Pax Vobiscum, y'all. Yeehaw!
You've been listening to another Cannabis Truth podcast with 21st century cannabis shaman Honey Smith Walls. It is important to use verifiably safe products and look out for yourself while we're in this wild, wild west of cannabis right now. Ask for help. It can get complicated. If you need serious medical attention, please consult one of the specialists at cannabisclinicians.org. They will get you to the right person and therapy for your issues. Tune in here for weekly foundational knowledge and learn to determine the best choices and cannabis strategies for your issues. But please be advised that shamans are not doctors or scientists. You'll find those at cannabisclinicians.org. Unless otherwise proven by a reputable third-party lab test, please regard all street weed as contaminated. It may do grave harm to a patient with a delicate immune system who already has inflammatory issues like arthritis, IBS, fibromyalgia, or worse. Thank you for your time today.